Controversy for the U.S. women at the Olympics. We're building up to the U.S. Open Cup final, and AC Milan hit the Big Apple. Next on The Daily. Hey everyone, welcome to The Daily. I'm Greg Lawless alongside Simon Borg. And yesterday was one of the more dramatic moments we've seen in the Olympics, in particular for the U.S. women. They make it to their 5th Olympic final, but not without controversy. Simon, they went into extra time against Canada, and they needed a last-second goal by Alex Morgan in order to beat them.
That goal came in extra time, but the big controversy is 10 minutes before regulation was up, Canada had a 3-2 lead, and the U.S. were awarded a penalty kick on a handball. That the handball was there. I think no one will dispute that, but it's the play before that. The referee calling an indirect free kick in the box because the goalkeeper, the Canadian goalkeeper, held on to the ball too long. It's a rare call, rarely made. You don't make that call in an Olympic semifinal, so I think the Canadian team has a fair gripe, and if I'm a U.S. fan, I don't like the way I won that game.
Well, yeah, but they did win the game. It's all done, and they're into the final. They're going to face Japan, the same team that they faced in the final of the World Cup just last year, so a little bit of a rematch there. Saying all that, even Pia Sundhage, the head coach for the U.S. national team, coming out and saying that was a rare call to see that 6-second call made. Now, Simon, the semifinal for the men takes place today. What are you expecting out of these?
The big one is Mexico versus Japan. Can a CONCACAF team make it to the final of the Olympics here? I think Mexico has a great chance. Japan has been solid. They've been organized. But for me, Mexico has had Giovanni Dos Santos and Oribe Peralta up top. They've been difference makers for me. So I expect more of the same. And the other semifinal, Brazil versus South Korea. Based on the refereeing we saw between Brazil and Honduras, Brazil will make it in the final. No suspense there.
It's all about the refereeing. That was the controversy for the U.S. women. That could be the controversy for Brazil against South Korea as well. The Olympic semifinals today for the men. The women are into the final, and the final will take place on Thursday, 2:45 p.m. That game is on NBC Sports Network. Before the Olympic final, there's the U.S. Open Cup final on Wednesday night. Sporting Kansas City hosting the Seattle Sounders. The Sounders going for their 4th straight U.S. Open Cup title. Sporting going for their first one since 2004. In fact, their first piece of hardware since 2004. This is shaping up to be a fantastic match, Simon.
It is. We talked about it. This could easily be MLS Cup in a couple of months' time. Look, Sporting Kansas City, not the best moment for them in the sense that they have a ton of injuries where, a bunch of players have knocks. CJ Sapong, Chance Myers, Bobby Convey, Jacob Peterson. Key players for them. Aurelien Collin is out. So Kansas City's moment, even though they're coming off a 1-0 win, not the best. Seattle, after that win over the weekend, they're on a high. Eddie Johnson in great form. He's kept up that hot streak, so Seattle would have to be the favorite for that 4th.
Well, the game is at 9 p.m. Eastern Time on Wednesday. It's on Goal TV. On MLSsoccer.com, there's a pregame show, a video stream with our own Jason Sagini and Andrew Wiebe down in Kansas City for this. That will be at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on MLSsoccer.com. Well, also on Wednesday night, the Herbalife World Football Challenge continues with a massive match at Yankee Stadium, of all places. Real Madrid against AC Milan. We're talking about two of the biggest clubs in the history of the game, Simon. And Milan coming into New York on Tuesday.
This is what makes that match really intriguing. This is the end of both their preseasons. They're right there at the start of their season. AC Milan, their Italian league, starts a little later this month, but they're now revved up. So it's going to be great to see these two powerhouses go against each other. AC Milan, for their losses and the talked about losses of Ibrahimovic and Thiago Silva, they've looked good. They're explosive still. And Real Madrid, with their superstars, they've looked constantly a goal-scoring threat. The goals just pour in when Real Madrid play.
They certainly do. Cristiano Ronaldo, obviously a big part of that. He actually said the other day, hinting that he might want to finish things in MLS when he's a little bit later on in his career. What do you think about that?
Well, I think it's an obvious thing. He's an obvious target. If you look at the history of DPs, he would be that next David Beckham. David Beckham leaves the league maybe in another year, and then you have the Cristiano Ronaldo personality come into MLS. It's an obvious fit.
Well, that game is at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. It's on ESPN2 on Wednesday night. Real Madrid and AC Milan at Yankee Stadium. We're still awaiting official word regarding Kirk Urso's death. The midfielder for the Columbus Crew died early Sunday morning in Columbus. However, there is a quote from one of the coroners saying that it was a, quote, apparent natural death. Now, Simon, we had Ethan Finley, his roommate, on the Extra Time Radio podcast, the latest edition that came out on Monday. Some interesting things coming out of his fellow rookie.
Yeah, Ethan Finley sharing his emotions with the public, emotions that are still raw 24, 48 hours after what transpired. And he was very upfront about how difficult this is, how the team is devastated. He doesn't know where the soccer is going to fit in yet at this point. His concern right now is supporting Urso's family. So the Columbus Crew training today, so they're back on the field, but it's closed to the public. Ethan Finley spoke about a media, a team meeting, I should say. So we'll see what comes out though on Wednesday when the media is invited again.
Well, the Crew are back in action on Saturday with a home match against Toronto FC. Stay tuned to MLSsoccer.com for all the news about the Crew, all the matches this weekend, and the latest edition of the Power Rankings.